Hello everybody, and welcome back once again to Enter the Wolf Time. This video, guys, this is the big Q&A that I asked for you guys to write in with questions and stuff for. Essentially, yeah, it's been about 2 weeks or something. It's time for me to answer your questions and stuff. Yeah, I got a new mic, got a Pro Sound podcast mic, so hopefully my voice is really clear. Let me know, guys, how clear the audio is as well, because I'm going to be using this for D&D, and it also means I can get really close and whisper to you in your ears, in your ear holes, all sexy like. Okay, but anyway, so let's crack on with the questions. Got a really good mix of questions, actually, and I thank you guys that actually wrote in and ask me questions for this giant Ask Me Anything. So let's kick off. This first question. Mr. Sparrock, however you say that. He asks me, how do I record my videos? What camera do I use? Well, the camera that I use is a JVC HD SD card camcorder. It's a JVC 207. I can't remember the exact model number, but just type in JVC 207 and it'll spit you back a load of results. That's the camera that I use because it's really crisp. It uses a Konica Minolta lens, which is the best kind of lens if you ask me for videoing. I know a lot of people argue, Zeiss lens is better or Leica, although guys, I will have you know that if you choose a Panasonic camera with a Leica lens, you're not actually getting a Leica lens, merely just Leica's name lent to a plastic lens on there. So, unlucky. But anyway, I use JVC camcorder to record my stuff with a tripod. I'm possibly going to do a separate video on this, so I'm not going to speak too much on it. I also edit my stuff using Sony Vegas Pro 9, which is it's a nice, easy to use editing software with a lot. Not Pro 9, sorry. God damn it. I use Sony Vegas Pro 11 now because it does better HD rendering. Yeah, it's a better editing software, really. I find it better than Adobe Elements or whatever the Adobe... Not Elements, whatever the Adobe Photoshop... Not Photoshop, fuck, I can't even speak today. It's early in the morning, guys. Sorry. It's better than the Adobe products because it's less confusing, but at the same time has access to some very, very advanced features. So yeah, that's essentially what I use. I record it in 720p HD, just because there really is no point in recording 1080 unless people are going to be viewing it through a screen over 32 inches. Yeah, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I don't see the point in increasing my file size on my videos just for that. So that's essentially how I record. Okay, so we'll move on to the next question. And this one comes from EVERGREENASTRONAUT. And he asks me, how do I have any Golden Demon or Scrap Demon aspirations for this year? Or maybe even Armies on Parade? Well, Golden Demon, no. Afraid not. I'm not that good of a painter to paint anything Golden Demon standard, nor will I think I ever will be. There are many, many better people out there that are better painters than me, Mr. Pidge included, Chains, a load of other people. I'll leave the Golden Demon to them. Scrap Demon, don't really know too much about Scrap Demon. That's that one where you've got to sit down and you basically get given bits and you've got to make stuff there and then, isn't it? I could do that, but to be fair, again, you have to get there so early to enter in Scrap Demon. Now, Armies on Parade, however. Yes, if at games like this, if I manage to go, I will probably enter my orcs, because obviously they will have been pro-painted by Chains. However, I will not, suffice to say, not give Chains his credit. It will be I'll have a little plaque on there, army built by myself and painted by Chains, so we both get recognition on that. Because, like I say, I'm not in the business of taking credit for other people's work. So yeah, possibly an Armies on Parade, and I've got some crazy ass orc conversions, so hopefully that should win me a fair bit of recognition on that. Next question. Connor Hendo 13 asks me, what are my favourite brand of condoms? And to that I answer, condoms? Question mark? Don't use condoms. on the pill. So yeah, that's your answer to that. But if I do have to nod her up, if I do have to shrink wrap the salami, I tend to use Durex. Extra safe, because you don't want no little babbies running around everywhere. Okay, and Reality Bites and United War Games both ask me, what does nun sweat taste like? And I can tell you now, guys, it's wonderful, absolutely wonderful, like that fresh cup of coffee, freshly ground in the morning. No, only joking. I do not know what nun sweat tastes like. I reckon it just tastes like I don't know, Jesus Christ's sweaty balls or something like that. I don't know. Also, now, who asked me this question? This one, because I think... Oh, yes, it was Reality Bites asked me this other one as part of a two-part question. He asked me, if I had to be slapped with something gross, such as a dead fish or a smelly old shoe, but had free choice of what it was, so long as it was gross, what would it be? And I think I would choose an octopus. For some reason, I've always wanted to be slapped in the face with an octopus, just to see what it would feel like. I reckon it'd be really, really slimy. Obviously, bit fishy, bit of a fishy fanny, bit of a fishy clunge going on there, and it just whack around, and I don't know, it'd just be interesting to be hit in the head with an octopus. Then you could proudly proclaim, yes, I have been hit indeed in the head with an octopus, in the face with an octopus, should I say? Okay, next question. The THEXIRISHXWARRIOR, which I'm guessing is supposed to be the Irish Warrior. It's a good name. I do like that. It's a good alias. It's a good strong alias, that is. And he asked me, will I ever restart my Space Wolves or Grey Knights? And Grey Knights, sadly, no. I don't think so, just because the new rules nerfed them. Because the reason why I chose Grey Knights was because they were a really elite force, very expensive, because they all had fucking power weapons. And power weapons cut through most things and made mincemeat out of most armies. However, most things have a power sword now, which makes them absolutely bollocks when it comes down to killing regular infantry. Because as we all know now, power swords have been nerfed, so you still get an armor save. Thank you, Games Workshop. Thank you, you fucking bastards. So, probably won't restart them. I mean, my Grey Knight Contemptor is on eBay, as you guys know. I've harped on about that for a while. Still not fucking sold, and I don't know why, because it's a fucking awesomely done model. If I do say so myself. Blow my own trumpet there. But yeah, in regards to my Space Wolves, I've pretty much collected everything I can possibly collect for Space Wolves. I pretty much own every unit, barring a few special characters and land speeders, because they're just not fluffy. If they release anything new for Space Wolves, I'll probably get that and expand that way. Also, if for some reason I win the lottery or someone just gives me a Warhound Titan, then I will expand into that, because I really do want a Warhound Titan. I want to call it the Wolfhound Titan. It'd be so cool. So cool. But yeah, so the answer to that is I've never really stopped Space Wolves. It's just the fact that I've kind of doing something different now. And Grey Knights, yeah, completely stopped those guys. Okay, next question comes from Imperial Orc Fists. Rather interesting name there. Imperial Orc Fists. Imperial Orc. Never even heard of such a thing. Anyway, I'm rambling now. I don't know what I'm going to call this video. I'm going to call this giant Ask Me Anything Sonic Waffle or something like that. I don't know. Imperial Orcfist asks, what is my favourite model that Games Work currently produce and sell on their website, and why? That's a really hard decision. It's a very hard decision for me, because I like an awful lot of the Games Workshop models. I don't approve of the pricings. I don't approve of Games Workshop's business model currently. But I think my favourite, and I've said this on another couple of videos, my favourite model, probably off the top of my head, it keeps coming back to the Dark Angels Chief Librarian Ezekiel. I'm actually holding one in my hand right now. Mainly because his power armor just looks extra chunky. The way he's holding his sword is very samurai-ish, up top, near his face. Obviously, all the cloaks and the robes and stuff, and the hood, and the fact that you can only see a tiny fraction of his face. Plus, the power sword, the force sword that he has looks really, really cool as well. It's one of my very, very, very favourite models, just because the arms and the power armor just look extra chunky. So yeah, that was my favourite model of the range, and that is why Imperial Orc Fists. Okay, next question. Wolf Brother 2501 asks me, if you could add a race from another game system to 40k, what race would you choose and why? Basically, a mashup between Games Workshop and any other system out there. Now, that's really difficult for me to ask again. Ask for me to answer again because I don't really play any other game systems at all. I'm kind of starting to get into Infinity a little bit. So, but it's like I don't know enough of that universe to be able to add races in. That's a really tough question, and it takes a bit of thinking about. I think if I could add a race from any other system there, well, what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to expand it from, rather than a game system like a tabletop game, to general game system. So we'll have to branch into the realms of video games and stuff there as well. Now, if I could add another race to 40k, I would really, really like to see maybe, I don't know, another kind of synthetic race, possibly like Geth. I know obviously Necrons and stuff are synthetic, and with the new fluff, I've not read of the new fluff, but apparently they changed Necrons quite a bit, so now they all have personality, so that kind of answers my question on that. So it's a really, really hard question. Maybe something that's quite slow. Do you know what? Fuck it, right? I want to bring back the squats. I would bring back the squats because they could be such a different playstyle. They could be very, very slow, fairly, not, average in close combat, but very, very tough. Also, with some really, really awesome heavy weapons. Like, they could be like heavy support specialists and have like a huge heavy support list and things. That would be really, really good. So, do you know what, Games Workshop, if you're listening, bring back the squats. I know it's never going to happen, but if I have to come in there and strangle your directors, I will do in order to get the squats back, you bastards. So, fuck it. We're saying squats. Squats on that question. Okay, I've got a couple of questions now from Jonathan Burr, 89. He asked me, what music do I like? What are my favourite bands and genres and stuff like that? I like a mixed bag, really. I like metal. I like a lot of metal, new metal. I like, obviously, Disturbed, Korn, that kind of stuff. But then at the same time, I can go from like being like, yeah, heavy metal, to I like, a lot of... strangely enough, it's a really weird genre. It's like classical dubstep, and one artist springs out in particular, Lindsay Sterling. She's an absolutely amazing woman. Her violin stuff is just absolutely fantastic, and she does like a mix of acoustic violin and electric violin work, and then mixes it in with dubstep, and oh my god, it's amazing. She's got some serious talent, that girl. Yeah, so it's a really weird mix. I like a lot of metal, but I also like classical as well. Then I do like my dubstep. I really do like Skrillex. Not his earlier stuff. His newer stuff is much better. His earlier stuff just sounds like Transformers having sex to me, really. It's like Optimus Prime bumping uglies with the freaking Bumblebee or something like that. I don't know. Metal and a bit of, neoclassical kind of thing mixed in with like some dubstep and stuff. That's kind of what the genres that I like. But then at the same time, I have like really guilty pleasures. Like I really like that Owl City and Carly Rae Jepsen song as well. That's one of my little guilty pleasures there. There's also a few Katy Perry songs which I don't mind just having a little jaunt to when I'm driving and stuff like that. So, a couple of my guilty little pleasures there for you guys. He also asks, do I read any of the Warhammer books, and which ones do you like and why? A lot of these and whys, I would normally justify myself anyway. I don't really do much reading anymore. I have fits and starts when it comes to reading. I tend to go through phases, like maybe once or twice a year, where I'll read and get loads and loads of stuff done. But then I'll have like maybe a 2-year period where I won't read a single thing. Maybe the odd comic or graphic novel or something. You can't really call it reading, can you? It's just like looking at pictures, really. I like looking at the pictures. My favourite books currently, I do like, well, I've read all the Space Wolf novels, and they are just amazing. If you've never ever read any of those, like the Space Wolf Omnibus, get it from the Black Library. It is an awesome insight into the way the Space Wolves work, operate, and just the general lore of them. And it also is very, very apparent that they are so radically different from any other of the Codex Astrates, obviously Space Marine chapters. But no, that is my favorite book, because it goes into like all the detail of like how the augmentation process of becoming a Space Wolf, Space Marine happens and everything. It also goes into like history and backstory of the Space Wolves' homeworld, Fenris, and it's really, really good. I really want to read Prospero Burns, but I've not felt in the mood to read yet, so that'll probably get read in a couple of years' time, probably. And he also asked me a really interesting question as well. Jonathan Burr 89, he asked me, where do you think Games Workshop are going to end up with, you know, all the pricings and laws that they're putting on in America? Well, if you ask me, I think that Games Workshop are probably going to run themselves down into the ground fairly soon, mainly because they, you got to think about it, their customer base is, you know, young teenagers, and you know, ages from, you know, you're looking about 10, 12 years old right up and through probably 18, 19, and then you've got really weird psychos like me that are like 25 and still do it, and then you've got obviously a lot of the older guys that do it that have been in it since a very young time. Now, with the price hikes and stuff, this is my bugbear. Back in the day, I used to be able to afford Games Workshop products with my pocket money that my parents and relative used to give me on a monthly basis. You know, it was a couple of quid I used to save up and buy like a Space Marine bike or an Orc bike or a little box set or something. Now, it's all so expensive. I mean, kids can't afford it, you know, with pocket money that they get, unless their parents are stupidly rich. And that way, Games Workshop are losing an awful lot of their customer base because of the price hike. I just think that's fundamentally wrong, because now they are literally going to be surviving off the people like me that are hooked on their products, and also the old timers out there that have been doing it for a long time. However, I've not actually bought a big Games Workshop kit in a matter of years. I think the last thing I bought that was actually belonging to Games Workshop was the Grot box set. That was legit bought from Games Workshop. Everything else now I tend to source off eBay because it's cheaper and you get better deals and bargains and stuff like that. I think Games Workshop, yeah, they're going to run themselves into the ground in regards to pricing and stuff like that. In regards to, I know there's a lot of stuff that's going on in regards to, you know, them shutting down independent retailers and stuff like that. Again, they're alienating themselves from a lot of people by only, I mean, I know obviously at the end of the day they're a business and they have to get money somehow, but for fuck's sake, they're so greedy. But yeah, I think they're just going to run themselves into the ground, personally. I give him probably, you know, unless they they've just re-released Tau, so it's a case of this will attract a lot more young players, because I find the Tau are very, very young, you know, there's very anime inspired, and a lot of people, a lot of kids tend to like all that. I mean, I like anime and stuff, and it almost makes me want to do Tau, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, and I think they've picked a very, very good time to re-release Tau, because they hiked the prices up, and now they've re-released Tau, which is obviously aimed at the younger side of the hobby. So obviously all the little kids going past are going to go, oh, mummy, daddy, oh, that looks really cool, can I have one of those? And they'll be like, all right, okay, not knowing that they're getting their kid into a fucking expensive, addictive hobby. But yeah, so that's my view on the whole thing. Okay, next question. Dune Stefmanth, I can't really pronounce that properly. Good job I'm typing it up and putting it on the screen. Right, I bought some Gorkamorka Grots, an old 16 boy box, brilliant if you got it all brand new, that's fantastic. And one of the old orcs in power armor, the ones with the crab claws like Terminators. That one actually is a rogue trader, not a Gorkamorka orc. He says, I'm missing one of the arms of for the power armor knob. What do I do? Well, it's really difficult, that is, because you've got to stick with the aesthetic of the actual power armor he's got, which is quite round. Obviously, got the crab claws and stuff. Personally, if it was me, I would probably scour eBay for a spare claw, or maybe another model instead of that one. Sometimes it's just better to cut your losses if you can't find a part and just buy another full one. Alternatively, you could modify the armor somehow to make it look more in line with some other stuff that's out now. You could like make it a bit more boxy, a little bit less round and stuff like that. Then maybe you could like buy some of the Zinj Industries power claws and use that and stuff. You know, there are ways around it. You just got to sit down and have a bit of a think. Another question. 69 Goldenfly asks me, what song is playing in the opening bit of my intro? And I'll be completely honest with you, it's been that long, I've forgotten. I tried doing a Shazam on it, you know, the app where you can you listen to a piece of music that's going on, it'll tell you what it is. But then I realised I got it from a website called Jamendo or Jamdo or whatever you want to call it. I'll put a link in the doobly-doo actually down below. Yeah, they do like royalty-free music and stuff, and it was just like someone's garage band or something like that somewhere, and yeah, it's a case of I've forgotten, so I do apologise that I can't give you an answer for that. But go have a look on that website; it's really good. It's really got really good stuff on it. Okay, next question. The HOBBYBUTTERFLY asks me, why did I take my vlog channel down? His actual question was, why did you take your vlog channel down? It was really good. And the answer is, I'm really sorry about that. I took it down because of trolls. Going back a couple of years ago, I had some cunts that were trolling me really bad, and they were using images of my face from that channel, my actual real face, and they were using that, and they were photoshopping it onto some rather obscene stuff, and so unfortunately I had to take it down. It's still there, it's just not active, but it's one of those things that, managing, I also have another gaming channel, Brains for Tea, and it's really hard. I struggle to manage Enter the Wolf Time on my own, and it's really hard to manage two or more channels and stuff, so the vlog channel will probably remain offline for a considerable amount of time in the future. But yeah, the trolls that I got were just took the piss. So that's why I took that down. Okay, next question. MOOBILIOUS asks me two questions. Yep, two questions. One, if I could have any weapon, what would it be? And two, what's my favourite film of all time? Now, number one, you've been a bit vague on this question. If you could have any weapon, what would it be? Now, I'm going to answer this in two parts. I'm going to go real weapon and fantasy weapon. So if any real weapon, if I could have that, it would probably be a set of dual trench knives, like a big spiky fucking set of spiked knuckles of like a horribly wicked blade. Basically, because when the zombie apocalypse comes, that's going to be pretty useful for punching the lights out of zombies and then cutting heads off or whatever. So I'd love a pair of trench knives. They'd be an amazing addition to my collection. Plus, no one would actually fuck with you if you came at them with a trench knife. However, fantasy weapon. Now, this does get a little bit tricky. I think I would absolutely love a power fist, because I just love the idea of just punching someone that hard in the face that their head pops, or be able to punch a car out of the way, or punch a fist into the ground and crack the earth around me and stuff. So I reckon a power fist, either that or a lightsaber. A lightsaber would be a really cool weapon because no one would fuck with you. Although you do run the risk of cutting your own arm off if you try and be fancy with it. So yeah, that's the weapon question. And he also asks, what's my favourite film of all time? And that's really hard. I looked at this question before and I had a little think, and I've got to say I came to the conclusion that I think it's the 1998 or 1995 film Hackers with a very young Angelina Jolie. That's my very favourite film of all time. It's a really fucking boring film actually, but it's all to do with like cyberpunk and when hacking and everything was at its prime and stuff like that. Of course, obviously, it's like completely simplified. Hacking is a much bigger deal of effort than how they make it look in that film. But the great thing about it is you get to see a young Angelina Jolie and you get to see some tits, which is pretty nice. Everyone likes a bit of young Angelina Jolie titties, some tatty bojangles, some breasticles. But yeah, Hackers is my favourite film of all time. Good old Chains asks me, if you had to move to another tabletop game, what would it be? And I'm actually, Chains, in the process of moving to Infinity. Basically because it's a very, very low model count, and I had a bit of a taster game with the Mr. Pidge the other day, and it was quite fun. It's quite realistic. It's much better than 40k in regards to how things plan out, how things shoot, because everything goes on at the same time, which is really good. It's not really turn-based as such. But yeah, so that's my answer to that. I'm going into Infinity a little bit. I'm going to order, so actually today after I finish this video, I'm probably going to go and order my Infinity models. I've picked like the fucking most hardest race to to pronounce. So yeah, they'll be on Enter the Wolf time, probably end of this week, or they'll be next week or something like that. But you'll definitely get to see them, and I will paint them as well. I'm going to do some painting, yes indeed. Anyway, next question comes from Blackblade68, and he asks me, what's my favourite candy? In truth, I don't really eat sweets, I'll be completely honest with you. It's just one of those things. I'm more of a savoury snack person than I'll put it this way, I'd rather have a bag of crisps than a chocolate bar. That's the way things go. However, if someone did make me choose what's my favourite candy, what's my favourite sweets, I just have to say, just regular chocolate, you know. I just you know, that's it really. I don't like jelly sweets because I don't approve of was it the gelatin, because you're eating cow guts essentially, which isn't very nice. I also don't really eat, like, obviously that's jelly sweets. I don't eat like hard candies and stuff, and I'm quite conscious about my teeth. I think I have pretty obviously no one's ever seen my face properly, but I think I consider myself to have quite nice teeth, and I don't really want to wreck them with lots of sweets and stuff like that. So yeah, there's your answer to that one, Blackblade. And the last question came from Tom Wilson. He asked me, how do I divide my time between the hobby, Games Workshop and Phil Kelly hate, work and real life? Well, it's a case of I only work in the weekends, so I have pretty much the entire week to do everything else. Normally my day, I'll tell you what a basic day consists of. A basic day for me in the week consists of taking the girlfriend to work early in the morning at about 8 o'clock-ish, and then bringing the dog back to my parents' house. Then I sit on my computer, I have breakfast, and then I probably watch a bit of YouTube and stuff like that. I write down ideas for shows and stuff, have a bit like a self-brainstorming session. Then I'll probably build some models, build some commissions. If I've got some that I want to video or something, I'll video that. If I've got anything worth putting into a video, then I'll start my editing process, then I'll let it render. Whilst it's rendering, I'll watch like some Game of Thrones or some Walking Dead or something like that. After it's rendered, I'll upload it, and then I start the long and laborious process of the upload, which takes about 6 hours for an Enter the Wolf time, because it's like freaking hateful HD, and it's like a 4 or 5 gig file that I'm trying to upload, which is really bollocks. So yeah, that's my day pretty much. And then if I hear something about Games Workshop, you know, it'll rile me up, and then I'll record a bit of video and stuff like that. So that's really what happens. You know, occasionally I'll work in the evenings and stuff like that. And like see friends and things, but yeah, you know, not working in the week has its benefits. You know, you get more free time to yourself, but you also have to do more household chores and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's really how it is. That's like an average day in the life of the JoJo man. But yeah, guys, so this is the end of the questions now. And I thank you very much. There's been some thinkers in there. Been some ones that have made me think. And I mean, let me know if you guys want me to do another one of these. If you want me to do another one of these, all you gotta do, guys, is ask me anything. Just put a load of questions down. I'll probably announce it. So I'm not releasing loads of Enter the Wolf times without an Ask Me Anything section. So I'll probably basically go, yes, I'm gonna do another giant Ask Me Anything. And you know, get it all sorted. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching this, or listening to this, as you probably have been doing. Yeah, excuse me, a little bit of a burp then. That was a pathetic burp, really. It wasn't very manly. It wasn't a very manly burp. Yeah, thank you for watching and listening, and I will see you guys again. See you now. Goodbye.